Well, we're back right here on the weekend show, and right now it's time to meet our guests that we have right here in the studio. We have with us tonight Dana Salem, and Dana is a clinical dietitian at Dasman Diabetes Institute. Dana, we'd like to welcome you to our program.
Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure for having you tonight right here on the weekend show, and Ramadan is coming up, and some people say it is a good opportunity to lose some weight. Even though I personally disagree. I think Ramadan is that people eat too much and in abundance, and I personally gain some weight, but we'll be talking a little bit about that as our interview goes along. But please tell us, what are some good healthy habits for people to have, especially when they break the fast?
Like you mentioned, Ramadan is a really good time for you to take advantage and lose some weight, but Ramadan is a month for you to learn self-control and self-discipline, and that really shouldn't stop when you break your fast. People should continue living like they normally would, have 2 meals, maybe a middle one between them. The amounts they should eat shouldn't really change. The way they cook should be healthier. There's a lot of small things people can do.
But it seems like some people, when they break the fast, they just go straight into the food and just go from one course to the next, to the next, to the next, and that's where things can get out of hand, especially with, you know, the abundance of the Ramadan sweets and so forth, Dana. So what's a good way to actually break the fast?
Well, a good way to break the fast, of course, a lot of people have 3 dates. That's a really good way to get your sugar back up to normal. Have a glass of yogurt if you'd like, low fat, and then take your time when you're eating. It takes 15 minutes for your signal from your stomach to your brain to signal that you're full. So give yourself some time before you think of eating some more.
Okay, so just kind of just break it up a little bit, some
A little
gaps.
bit,
Yeah?
definitely.
Okay, and I think water is going to be very important this year, especially it's so humid and hot this summer right here in the state of Kuwait.
Definitely. When you break your fast, a lot of people are thirstier than they are hungry. So the kind of drinks that you're having, you have to think about before you actually have them. There are good things to have and there's bad drinks to have.
Okay, and we'll get into that as our interview goes along, Dana, and maybe now you could tell us a little bit about some good healthy food to eat during Ramadan.
Well, some good foods to eat are things that are complex carbs and high fiber foods.
Such as?
Complex carbs would be things that are whole grain, basmati rice, pita bread. Those things release energy slower than refined sugars. At the same time, high fiber food does the same thing. It slows the digestion and it slows the sugar going up in your system to avoid that rush of sugar that hurts your head. So eat small quantities, but keep towards complex carbs rather than simple carbs.
And Dana, you brought this, I think, food chart with you. Can you tell us what we're taking a look at here, please?
Okay, this should be your normal meal. If your plate is in front of you, you should divide it into a half and 2 quarters. The larger half should be filled with vegetables, but not starchy ones. So it shouldn't include any corn, potatoes, or pumpkin.
Good luck in that in Ramadan.
It should be more leafy green vegetables. The small quarters, one should be filled with lean meats or meat substitutes like beans or tofu. And the other quarter should be filled with your starch, such as rice or bread or potato. You can have a dairy with it, so it's good to have your yogurt or your laban, but have it in low fat. And you can have fruits or exchange it for the 3 dates that people would rather have in Ramadan.
Okay, now this is something that I think maybe after Ramadan people would do that more. Huh?
No, actually, people should just keep going with this and wait after they're done eating their first plates. Don't fill your plate up automatically. Just give yourself like 15 minutes. Think about, are you really hungry? And then put what you really want to eat.
Okay.
Don't go too fast. I know that you're hungry when you break your fast, but take your time when you're eating.
So the key maybe is to pace oneself.
Definitely. Some good habits are to get up and pray between having your dates and having the full meal so that you slowly absorb the sugar and you're not in that state of hunger.
Okay, that's a good point. And Dana, we touched on earlier at the top of our interview about the beverages and the drinks and so forth. So what are some good beverages to have during the holy month of Ramadan?
Well, definitely when the weather is like it is now in Kuwait, water is the first thing you should try to take. Rehydrate. Juice. Juice is a good option, but fresh juice that doesn't have any sugar added to it. Don't overdo it just because of the calories' sake. Some things that you should avoid are caffeinated drinks like teas and coffees and sodas.
I have a favorite, Vimto.
Vimto you should stay away from. It's full of sugar.
Oh, why not? I mean, Vimto is nice in Ramadan.
No, it's a waste of calories.
Okay, that's something to avoid then.
Definitely.
Okay, well, those are some good tips there. And now people tend to, we were talking about that when we were sitting in the green room before we came on air, about some people like to cook more fried things also during Ramadan. They can't resist the whole month of doing that because we were having that discussion. It seems to be more tasty. You said try an alternative, and it seemed like everyone said no. So what can you answer to that?
Well, a lot of the traditional foods that people eat during Ramadan are filled with fats, and that's because back in the day when people used to stay fasting all day, they used to be moving and working and hard labor, so they needed the energy. But nowadays when we drive from place to place and we're sitting all day, we really don't need all that energy. So we should try to use healthier cooking methods. So instead of frying, baking or grilling would be a better option. It keeps the flavor in longer and it doesn't have all the extra calories that you don't need.
What about those people that say it loses some of the taste?
It actually doesn't. Try it. Give it a shot. Spray a little oil on it and then put it in the oven instead of frying it.
Okay, so those are some things that people should do. You recommend they do that?
Definitely, with the sambusas and the spring rolls, and even with the desserts, like if they should try to put them in the oven instead of frying them.
Really? Does it taste good that way?
It does. It really does taste good.
Okay, well, that's our clinical dietitian, Dana Salem, giving you some tips about good, healthy eating habits. And we also have some photos of some of the various activities taking place at Dasman Diabetes Institute. We'll get those onto our screens. Tell us, Dana, a little bit about some of the things that you and your colleagues do at Dasman.
In Dasman, we have an opportunity to do a lot of things with different people. We have a lot of cooking classes. We invite the public to come. It's for free, and they get to learn different ways and healthier ways to cook their foods. We teach them about portion controlling.
And here's yourself and one of your colleagues at, I think this was the World Diabetes Day event, correct?
Yes, that's correct. That's me and the other dietitian, Fatma. And we're counseling one of the patients, one of the people that came in actually for free. And we gave them advice, and it's great to see how things change for them.
That was a good day. The public were very receptive. A lot of people came.
They did. They really liked it. They wanted us to do it more often.
And you and the rest of the team did a great job. Of course, you're led by Dr. Rula, who is the head of the department. All of you working very hard and tirelessly to help out with all the great nutrition and diet programs that are provided at Dasman Diabetes Institute. And now, give us some more tips and advice for the holy month of Ramadan so people can stay healthy.
One of the things people really shouldn't forget during Ramadan, I know that they're tired, but really exercise is very important. It's important for your health. It's important to keep your weight down, especially important if you're having sweets every single day and fried foods. So people should try to remember to exercise. If they don't feel comfortable going before, they should go after they break their fast. If at least walk for half an hour. And if you can't find the time, at least for people who go to the mosque next to their house, they walk to the mosque. Go to the mosque not right beside your house, but the one further. And doing that 5 times a day is a good way to increase the amount of exercise you get in your day.
Yeah, I think that's important.
That's definitely important.
And especially, but now what about people that like to, you know, it's like a tradition in Kuwait where people like to exercise before the futur time outside on the various walking tracks that we have right here in the state of Kuwait.
Honestly, if someone wants to, they could, but it's very hot outside. It wouldn't be a very good idea. They're going to get dehydrated. Yeah. Something might happen to them. So a better idea would be to like walk in a mall, or find an air-conditioned space or a gym. Work out in your gym. If not, walk around your house. Anything you can do to increase your energy expenditure.
And now, what about the suhoor time? What do you recommend for that meal? because then there's going to be a long day of fasting. What's your recommendations on that?
It's the exact same thing as the futur meal, but a smaller bowl. You need your complex carbs to keep you energized during the day. You need your
what
fiber.
would be a good example? I mean, let's say some specific foods that maybe people would like to have.
Let's say bran cereal with milk. You can have rice with a little bit of rice with protein in a salad.
Okay.
Some people like to have lentil soup. That's another good option. There's a lot of things that you can have.
And what about water? I think the water
Water
intake
you should definitely have before you
especially
go to
for
sleep.
suhoor time,
Yes,
huh?
definitely.
Okay. How many glasses of water should one have?
Usually you're supposed to have about 8 glasses of water a day, but more wouldn't hurt.
Okay, so that's some more good advice there. And exercise also important, you think, huh?
Of course.
Okay, well, coming towards the end of our interview this evening, Dana, do you have any last words that you'd like to close with tonight right here for the audience watching the weekend show?
I'd just like everyone to remember that this is a month to concentrate on self-discipline and self-control, so please do that.
Okay, well, we're very well said, and we appreciate your time coming to
Thank you
do
for
the
having
interview.
me,
I know
Tarek.
yourself and everyone's very busy at Dasman with all the various projects, and it's really nice to have you with us. And